Hello all, welcome to my channel. In this subject of operations research, I am explaining series of problems using simplex method. In this video, I will explain the use of artificial variable in linear programming. So let's start. Artificial variable is explained in my earlier video. Today, in this video, I'll explain how to use this artificial variable in a given problem. Consider a LP problem. Maximize z is equal to 25x1 plus 12x2 subjected to, we can see, three constraints. 3x1 plus 7x2 is less than or equal to 90. 6x1 plus 12x2 is less than or equal to 70. We are familiar with the first and second type of constraint, but the third type of constraint is 4x1 plus 9x2 is greater than or equal to 80. And x1, x2 is greater than or equal to, that is the non-negativity restriction that we know. So what is new in this? This third constraint is a greater than or equal to type of constraint in which the left hand side is greater than right hand side. Whereas in the first and second constraint, we have left hand side less than or equal to right hand side. So we'll convert the given problem into a standard form, and its standard form will be like this. Maximize z is equal to 25x1 plus 12x2 subjected to the first constraint is 3x1 plus 7x2 will be written as 3x1 plus 7x2 plus s1 because left hand side is less, so plus s1 equal to 90. Second constraint will also be written in the similar manner, 6x1 plus 12x2 plus x2 equal to 70. But in the third constraint we cannot write plus sign here because the left hand side is greater. So since the left hand side is greater than the right hand side, we have to subtract something. That subtract something is called as the surplus variable. So S3 will be called as surplus variable, and it will be subtracted from the left hand side to make it as equal to or equation. Make it as an equation. And we are saying that S1, S2, S3, the three slack or surplus variable, and X1, X2, the decision variable, should be greater than or equal to 0. And this S1, S2, S3 will not contribute anything into the objective function, so it will be 0 S1 plus 0 S2 plus 0 S3 in the objective function. Next, what we'll do? We'll find the initial basic feasible solution. And for finding the initial basic feasible solution, we need to find the basic variables. So we can identify S1, S2, and S3 are the basic variables from the first three equations. And X1, X2 are the non-basic variable. So if you put X1 and X2 equal to 0, we will get S1 is equal to 90. S3 is equal to 70 and S3 is equal to minus 80 as the initial basic feasible solution. Now let us analyze this initial basic feasible solution, and after analyzing we understand that S3 equal to minus 80. S3 is equal to minus 80, but we have said here that S3 should be greater than or equal to 0, and here we are getting S3 is equal to minus 80, so it is violating the non-negativity restriction. So we cannot accept this answer which gives S3 equal to minus 80. We cannot accept this value of S3, and we have to make some change here so that the initial basic feasible solution can be easily obtained. So let's see what change we can do. We have understood that this S3 equal to minus 80 cannot be accepted because we have written here that S3 should be greater than or equal to 0. Now this surplus variable, it has violated the equality constraint as I have already explained, and we have to fix this issue of initial basic feasible solution by introducing an artificial variable. So we'll see how to introduce artificial variable. All other things remain the same. Here, in order to convert the third inequality into equation, we have added, or rather we have subtracted S3, and we have added this A1 as artificial variable. Now let us see what is the initial basic feasible solution. With the introduction of this artificial variable, the initial basic feasible solution is S1 is equal to 90, S2 is equal to 70, and A1 equal to 80. Now we have got A1 equal to 80 means A1 is the basic variable, and it also means that S3 is not a basic variable now. So S3 is now a non-basic variable, A1 is the basic variable, and we got this solution. S1 equal to 90, S3 equal to 70, and A1 equal to 80. and this is not violating any conditions, so we can accept this initial basic feasible solution and we can start with the simplex method. But let us see here, something has happened, and that is artificial variable has violated the equality constraint in equation 3. Okay, what equality constraint it has violated? Let us see. Here we are saying that in the third inequality to equality, 4x1 plus 9x2 minus s3 equal to 80, but here we are having plus a1 also. So there is a difference between these two equations. Here we don't have plus a1, here we have plus a1. So we are forcing a1 to be the part of the equation where, and there is no space for a1 here, because this was less than 80, we have subtracted something and now it is equal to 80. Now when we are saying that this is equal to 80, left hand side is equal to 80, now we are saying that plus a1, we add a1 to this and now it is equal to 80. So it is contradicting what we have said. Therefore, this artificial variable has no physical meaning. So it is as good as it is not there in the solution. Artificial variable has no physical meaning and it is introduced just to find the initial basic feasible solution. You can start with the simplex method. So artificial variable should not appear in the final solution. We will not get any solution where we have artificial variable in it. Okay. Now let us see, there is another case where we need artificial variable. Consider a LP problem. Here we are seeing the similar problem where we have less than or equal to constraint. In the third constraint is a less than or equal to, and we know we can add a slack variable to the left hand side. But we can see here, first and second is not a constraint, it is equality now in this case. What difference does it makes? Let us check. We'll convert it into standard form. Now while converting the first equation in the standard form, there will not be any change because it is already an equation, so it will be written as it is. Second equation will be written as it is. In the third equation, we will add a slack variable and we will get plus s1 equal to 70, and x1, x2 and s1 all should be greater than or equal to 0. Now if you try to find the initial basic feasible solution, we have s1 only as the basic variable. Since we have s1 only as the basic variable and x1, x2 as non-basic variable, we cannot find the initial basic feasible solution. Initial basic feasible solution is difficult to obtain. So we cannot solve this problem in this way. In order, we cannot add slack or surplus variable in the constraint 1 or 2 because these are equations, so there is no need of slack or surplus variable. So what to do now? So this has created the need of artificial variable in the constraint 2 and 3. Or rather constraint 1 and 2, not 2 and 3, 1 and 2. Let us see how. Consider the LP problem, this same problem. Now here we'll add artificial variable in the first constraint and you will rather first equation, and we'll add another artificial variable in the second equation. Now because of this, what has happened, our initial basic feasible solution is having a1, a2 and s1. Here we are saying a1 is basic variable, a2 is basic variable and s1 is basic variable, and we get the value of a1 equal to 90, a2 equal to 70 and s1 equal to 80. So we are able to solve this sum now because we have initial basic feasible solution. So in case if the given constraint is a less than or equal, is a greater than or equal to type constraint, or the given constraint is not a constraint, it is an equality. It is an equality or it is an equation. In that case, we need to add artificial variables. So there are two cases where we need to add artificial variables, and then we can solve this sum. Now, in order to solve the sum, there are two methods. The first method is a big M method, or it is also called as a penalty method. And the second method is called as two-phase method. Now, whenever artificial variable is needed, that time this big M or two-phase method will come into the picture. This both comes in the simplex method. These are the simplex method only. Both these methods add artificial variable to find the initial basic feasible solution, and they attempt to eliminate artificial variable from the solution. They add artificial variable and then they attempt to remove this or eliminate this artificial variable from the solution. Since it is an artificial variable, it should not be in the solution. If you solve the given LP problem with by two-phase method or big M method, we'll get the same optimum value of the objective function. There will not be any difference. Big M method solves the problem similar to the regular simplex method. The way which we used to solve a maximization or minimization problem, similar to that problem will be solved by big M method. But as the name suggests, two-phase method will have two phases. The first phase will be to remove the artificial variable, and the second method or the second phase will be similar to what we do in simplex. We'll see what a big M method is, and so that we'll have an idea of how to solve by using big M method. The artificial variable, that is A1 or A2, that we are need to or forced to put in the solution, are assigned some penalty. Penalty is a very large penalty, and this penalty is reflected by an alphabet M, and this says the method is big M. Big because it is a large or huge penalty, and its penalty is given to the artificial variable in the form of alphabet M. So it will be plus M or minus M, and then this M will be a huge or big number. M is a very large number as compared to the coefficient of decision variable in the objective function. It is a very large number. Now, if it is a maximization problem, the penalty is minus M. Understand this? If it is a maximization problem, the penalty is minus M. And in case if it is a minimization problem, the penalty is plus M. So it is exactly opposite: maximization minus M, minimization plus M. The value of M is greater than or equal to 0. M is a positive number. M is a positive number, but the penalty which is assigned with a sign minus or plus in maximization or minimization problem respectively. The problem involving artificial variable is solved as usual, but you will get variables we'll get a variable M while we are solving the problem. Now, once this artificial variable leaves the solution or it leaves the basis, then it cannot enter the solution and it has been eliminated. As it has large value, it will not again enter the solution and it has been eliminated. Once we eliminate the artificial variable, then we can solve it as a regular simplex sum. Now we'll see two cases, maximization and minimization case, and how to solve a big M, how to solve a given sum, LP sum by big M method by these two cases. So consider this sum: maximum Z is equal to 25x1 plus 12x2 subjected to 3x1 plus 7x2 is equal to 90, 6x1 plus 12x2 equal to 70, 4x1 plus 9x2 less than or equal to 80, and x1, x2 are greater than or equal to 0. We'll convert it into standard form like this. In the first constraint, we'll add A1. In the second constraint, we'll add A2. In the third constraint, we'll add slack variable S1. So we can see here we have added A1 and A2, but when we are writing the objective function, that time we'll write MA1 and MA2, and this is a maximization sum, so it is minus MA1 and minus MA2. So you have to be careful while writing here. Here we are adding artificial variable A1 and A2, but in objective function we are assigning a huge penalty. So it is maximization sum, so huge penalty will be minus. So minus MA1 minus MA2. So basic tableau of a big M method would look something like this. So you can see this problem, given linear programming problem, is written in the form of a table. Here we will have basic variables are A1, A2, S1, A1, A2, S1. Here we'll write all the variables x1, x2, a1, a2, s1. Then we'll write the coefficient matrix we'll write the identity matrix, we'll write the solution, and what will we write here? Here we write the values from the objective function. This is minus m representing a1 in the objective function, and this is minus m representing a2 in the objective function. Similarly, here x1, x2, a1, a2, s1 has x1 as coefficient of 25 is the coefficient of x1, 12 is the coefficient of x2, minus m is the coefficient of a1, minus m is coefficient of a2, and 0 is the coefficient of s1. So you have to be careful while writing this. Here you will write 1 because here it is 1a1, and this value, coefficient matrix or identity matrix, come from the constraint, whereas the Cj column or the basis values come from the objective function. Now let us see a minimization case. Now since it is a minimization case, here we'll write plus a1, here we will write plus a2, and it is a minimization case, so huge penalty is assigned, huge positive penalty. Minimization case, positive penalty. You have to remember one thing, that whether it is a minimization problem or a maximization problem, you have to add the artificial variable. So it will always be plus a1 and plus a2. This plus ma1 or plus ma2 will be decided by the type of sum, whether it is a maximization or minimization sum. Now, this minimization case is represented here. So plus a1 plus a2, since it is a1, a2, so here we'll have 1 for a1, here we'll have 1 for a2, and here we'll have 1 for s1. Coefficient matrix, the solution, identity matrix, and this m and 0 will come from here. M and 0 will come from the objective function. Okay, this is to be remembered. So I'll repeat once again what is to be remembered. Whether it is a minimization or maximization problem, here if you are using big M method, here it will be 1 plus 1 only. This will also be plus 1 only. So in this identity matrix, there will not be any negative sign. If it is a minimization problem, then the huge penalty will be positive number. If it is a maximization problem, the huge penalty will be negative number. So this, whatever is written in the objective function, will be written in the basis as well as in the Cj row. Now we'll move on to the two-phase method. It solves the given problem in two phases. The first phase is the objective function is set aside. In the first phase, the given objective function is kept aside and a new objective function is formed. The objective function will have only artificial variable and no decision variables. So the new objective function which is formed will not have any decision variable. So it will not be like this, z is equal to something x1 plus something x2. The objective function will be having only artificial variable. Now, a given maximization problem can be solved as a maximization problem, or it can be solved as a minimization problem also. And a given minimization problem can be solved as a minimization problem or a maximization problem also. So we can solve a problem which is given to us the way we want it to solve. If you are comfortable with maximization problem, we'll solve the minimization problem also as a maximization problem. So in all of cases, you will get the same optimum value of z. Now, if a given maximization problem is solved as a maximization problem, let us see what happens. So this is a maximization problem. We need artificial variable in the first and second constraint and a slack variable in the third constraint. And its objective function is given as z is equal to 25x1 plus 12x2. When we are solving this maximization problem as a maximization problem by two-phase method, we will put all the decision variables as 0 and we will have only artificial variables. We'll have only artificial variables in the objective function. So you can see x1 is 0, x2 is 0, s1 is also 0. So only artificial variables. This is a maximization type. So we'll write minus a1 minus a2. Similar to what we did in the big M method. The given maximization problem, if it is solved by as a minimization problem, then see this is a maximization problem. Now we want to solve it as a minimization problem. So what will we write? Minimize z is equal to something. So what changes we'll do here? Here, since it's the two-phase method, this is a minimization problem which will have only artificial variable in its objective function. So we have changed the objective function. We have changed the objective function from 25x1 plus 12x2 to 0, 0, x1, x2 and only a1, a2. So maximization problem solved as minimization problem. So plus a1. Maximization problem solved as maximization problem. So minus a1 minus a2. So this is very important, very much important. Maximization problem. So you change this to minus. Minimization problem, change it to plus. So you can see it's the same problem which can be solved as a maximization problem or a minimization problem. But if you are solving it as a maximization or minimization problem, there are certain changes that you have to make that you should note. Also remember that here, this will always be plus a1 plus a2 plus a1 plus a2, whether you are solving as a maximization problem or a minimization problem, because here I told you that we will add the artificial variable. We'll add the artificial variable. Okay. So in case of a big M method, this will be minus MA1. This will be minus MA2. Here it will be here it will be plus MA1 plus MA2. And in two-phase method, there will not be any M there, but this objective function will become 0 except the artificial variable. Okay. Now, if it is a minimization problem, it can be solved as a minimization problem or a maximization problem. You can see here, minimization problem is solved as a maximization problem, or a minimization problem can be solved as a minimization problem. What changes we have to make here? Since it is a maximization problem, or rather we are solving it as a maximization problem, we'll write here minus a1 minus a2. This minimization problem we are solving as minimization problem, so this will be plus a1 and plus a2. And this a1, a2 here, maximize minus, minimize plus, and this a1, a2 here will always be plus, Okay, so the two-phase method has two phases. The first phase is solved to eliminate the artificial variable. Then the final table of phase 1 will be the initial table of phase 2. Second phase is to solve for optimality. Phase 2 will be solved as a regular simplex problem. Phase 2 will not have any artificial variable. And the objective function given in the question will be the objective function of the phase 2. Now, in the phase 1, we have changed the objective function. In the phase 2, we'll go back to our original objective function, and that will be the objective function for phase 2. The first phase ends in one of the following scenarios. When the artificial variable is eliminated from the simplex table, that is, it becomes non-basic or it leaves the solution. If the artificial variable becomes non-basic or it leaves the solution, it means that the artificial variable is eliminated from the table. Then end phase 1 and move to phase 2. If this is the scenario, we'll end the phase 1 and move to phase 2. When no incoming variable can be identified. Now, if we are not able to identify any incoming variable, then the phase 1 is considered as end. We can consider that the phase 1 can be ended there. We can end the phase 1. And no incoming variable can be identified, but artificial variable is still in the solution, then the LPP does not have any optimal solution and problem cannot be solved. It means that we should get rid of artificial variable after the phase 1 is over or at the end of phase 1. If that is not the case, we still have the artificial variable, then the problem cannot be solved by using linear programming or simplex method. The next topic here will be how to use the big M method to solve the linear programming problem.